broadcast network, AFTERBUZZ TV. Over 20 million weekly downloads in over 150 countries, and your #1 source for after-show entertainment. AFTERBUZZ TV, the destination for TV superfans. Producing aftershows for over 300 of your favorite TV shows, interviewing celebrities and showrunners, and bringing you behind-the-scenes exclusives. All thanks to E! Entertainment's Maria Menounos, producer Kevin Undergaro, and internet leader Akamai. Now, let the buzz begin!
Ego is a too much thing.
Okay, we got some Charlie Manson playing. Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of AfterBuzz TV. This is Aquarius, episode 13. This is the finale. Old Ego is a too much thing, and we actually have Charlie Manson's song, which is Old Ego is a too much thing, playing for us right now. I'm Paige Bonanno. I'm your host. You guys can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at Paige Bonanno, and we are joined by the one, the only Spencer Garrett tonight.
Howdy.
Thanks so much for joining us.
It's good to be here. That's a classic song, isn't it? That's just a creepy out song.
Oh yeah, and we could tell right away. We're like, this is definitely.
No, it's cold in here because I got shivers. It's not the room.
I know. When we were on the set, Geffen somehow he got copies of these old songs of Charlie Manson's, and he was listening to it on his iPod. You know,
to get in the character.
Yeah. And he put the earbuds in. And I was listening to it, and it really does put a chill up your spine, you know, to hear this.
I keep listening to it, and I keep thinking all the bad stuff this guy's done, and this is his voice singing to me right now.
Right.
It's a surreal sort of feeling. It's
and to see his picture on YouTube there,
oh, it's scary.
and hear the music, you know.
He's got a creepy picture for sure.
Yeah.
But anyways, we are joined by Spencer Garrett. We're so happy to have you. He plays Hal, and as we all know, as we watch this episode, Hal played a huge role in this episode.
Yeah.
It was crazy.
A little dark.
And our co-host.
I'm Guy David.
Guy David.
And you can find me as usual on Twitter at Guy and a Girl Show, and I have Instagram now.
Oh
I'm a newbie to
Yes, you do.
Instagram.
There we go.
Guy David 86. I have 14 followers.
Wow.
And I'm Spencer Garrett at @1Spencer Garrett, and Instagram at Spencer Garrett 1.
Oh, he switched it. He
You have
switched it on
Instagram
that.
too?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
What's
All
that?
right.
I'm enjoying Instagram too.
Yeah, it's fun.
It's fun,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
I'm a kind of a little vet on Instagram, so.
You're kind of into it.
I've been learning from your photos.
Oh yeah, for sure. But anyways, so we're just so
Lots to
excited.
talk about.
We have a lot to talk about tonight. First, let's start with a little bit of what you're doing lately, because we had Spencer with us a couple weeks ago, and we found out what he was doing then. But now it seems like you have a lot more things going on. So tell us a little about that.
Couple more things have cropped up since I saw you last. I'm doing a new. Bryan Cranston did a play on Broadway last year called All the Way, about Lyndon Baines Johnson and the Civil Rights Act in 1964. Beautiful, amazing play written by Robert Schenken, and Brian won the Tony Award for it. And so they're doing a film out of it for HBO.
That's amazing.
And Brian is doing it. It's an extraordinary cast, and Jay Roach is directing it. I did Game Change for Jay Roach, and so we started this week. We started filming this week, and Stephen Root and Ray Wise and Melissa Leo, Bradley Whitford is playing Hubert Humphrey. It's an extraordinary cast.
Melissa Leo's in it?
Melissa Leo is
That's
playing
really
Lady
wow.
Bird Johnson, and I'm just so stoked to be on the ride.
And how
So-
did you get involved in that from the first place? That you knew the.
well, I mean, I'd worked with Jay. I went in and read for it. And,
There you go.
You know, I think everybody kind of wanted to be a part of this thing.
Yeah,
And,
definitely.
So I was really excited when I got the call.
That's
It was,
amazing.
It was really nice.
And the great Steven Spielberg's producing.
Who's that? Steven Spielberg? Is he? Oh, I've heard of him. Yeah,
Who's
he's
that? I don't know.
Not many people know him. Why don't you guys know him around here?
I'm not sure.
He's an up and comer.
You didn't even mention him. So
You don't need to mention.
Right,
him. Yeah.
we already
So
know.
you've
He's just
gone.
sort of the force.
So you've graduated from one of the busiest men in Hollywood to officially the busiest by now.
Well, I don't know. It's just it's nice to be on this roller coaster.
It's good to have work, right?
It's all right. Sure. Yeah.
Definitely.
How does it ever? I think I asked you this last time. You said it's never too much, but
Sometimes it's too much.
I mean, you just you told me like with Aquarius and the show you're doing at Manhattan Beach. Who was that?
I was doing Scorpion.
Scorpion. You were actually doing both shows, playing two characters in one day. How hard was that?
That was tough. That was very tough. I mean, I was going through a tough time in my life. Personally, there was a death in the family, and I was driving to Manhattan Beach in the morning with a 5 a.m. call, shooting down there, and then getting in the car and leaving that character behind, and then getting in the car and then driving up to L.A. and doing these last few crazy scenes that you saw tonight of Aquarius. I mean, really emotional, difficult, violent, intense scenes.
These last scenes it was acting. It looked hard. How hard was it changing from character to character? Did you, while on your drive back, did you get into your mind together? What do you have a way to motivate yourself to do it?
I just tried to get out of my head as much as possible. I mean, I knew that when I arrived on the set, I knew I was in really good hands because I knew I was going to be with Brian O'Byrne, who always had my back throughout this whole thing. We had a great partnership. As twisted and wacky as the partnership was on screen, he was just lovely to work with. He's just a terrific person. And Jonas Pate, who directed this last episode, also did the pilot. So I was in really good hands.
Sure.
And the people on the show were just fantastic.
Right.
So, I was able to get through what I was going with and going through dealing with personally because I knew that. Everybody on that show had my back. So
Definitely.
it was a good.
Does working with such a great actor you admire like Brian O'Byrne, does that put the pressure on you more to perform? Do you put pressure on yourself knowing you respect the guy so much?
I hope I don't put too much pressure on myself. I mean, I think it ups your game. It's like if you're playing tennis with somebody that's as good as you are or better than you are. It just makes you a better tennis player.
You play better with a better opponent,
sure.
and that's the same with acting, right?
Absolutely.
Your game naturally lifts.
Oh yeah,
You rise to the occasion.
I mean, Brian is somebody that I respected and admired for so long. Seeing him on stage so many times, I told you I had sort of an actor crush on him. He's just an incredible actor. And he makes it look so simple and so easy, and he's so clean and just a wonderful actor to watch. And so I learned so much from him. And so when I met him on the pilot, when I came on the pilot episode, I was just so stoked because I knew that all of our stuff was going to be together, and so I knew I'd be in good hands.
Definitely.
Playing with somebody of that caliber.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, let's get into that relationship a little bit. So, at the beginning of the episode, so we start off, and in episode 12, obviously, we see that the last scene that we see in the episode is Hal coming to the door covered in blood.
Oops, I did
saying,
it again.
Oops, I did it again.
Yeah.
So we see, and we didn't really know that Hal played that big of a part in it until that moment. And we looked at each other and we're like, what just happened?
There were little crumbs that were dropped throughout the series. Though. I mean, the part where I tell Ken, you're going to be the Nixon campaign guy, and he says, well, they're going to start looking into us.
Exactly.
They're going to start looking into our background, and I say, everybody, they're going to look into you, me, and that's when I sort of dropped the hint that they're going to start digging around into our
But you would
past.
think more that Hal was more of the sidekick to Ken rather than the other way around.
You would have thought, which is why it's such an incredible twist. I mean, that John McNamara and those guys put together for this last episode.
Huge
Because it really is out of left field when you see what Banyan has done.
Right.
I mean, he's sort of laid this twisted foundation for that goes back to Ken Carnes' past and Manson's past. It all roads kind of lead to him.
Exactly.
In a way,
Everything that happened has now stemmed from Hal, and we just found that out.
Yeah.
What I loved about the end of the second to last episode is all the other episodes were ending on sort of a good note, the case solved, moving on.
Yeah.
I just looked and saw 1 minute left in the episode, and I'm like,
Wait.
it's just going to end. And then this happened. You appeared, bloody, and I'm like,
Knock
we
at the
nearly got
door.
suspended from AFTERBUZZ for noise violation. We just hit the roof. We're like, where did that come from?
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, we're like, whoa. It really heated things up for the final episode.
Yeah.
And so now in this episode, so we see him come to the door, and he kind of explains it a little bit more, and he tells Ken that, I begged Charlie to find me a girl that could handle it. And normally he got Sadie, who was his go-to girl for the sexual things that he was doing, whatever twisted things Hal had in his mind. And this night, Sadie couldn't come, so he got this other girl, a 15-year-old, and
Bad choice.
And so he
Bad call.
Bad choice for her too.
Right. So it was Janet, poor little Janet. So what exactly happened there? He cut an artery while they're doing.
Well, they were sort of playing kind of cutting games and choking games, and as you do.
As you do.
And
it's normal.
I hit a wrong artery, and
as you do,
and she bled out, and
you panicked,
and wackiness ensues. Yeah.
So this is the second girl now that Hal has had these problems
he's a
with.
serial killer.
Well, or maybe more. I mean, only
We don't
alluded
know.
to. I mean, there might have been more that he's done, but
Exactly.
I mean, obviously the prostitute. You find out that he's
So this all happened, but she was actually alive, which we didn't know about.
Yeah.
Oh, God. And we'll get into that.
It's a mess.
You guys can't really control your sexual cravings, really. I thought after you hit Manson, you hit him in the parking lot.
Yeah.
You wouldn't go back there. You'd be done with it because he has a lot of baggage on
Well, you
you
remember what
guys.
I did after I hit Manson and put him on the ground, and then I go up to him and he puts his knife up to me, up to my neck, and I said, "Come on, Charlie, I can take it."
But
I
you
mean,
kept-
that's when you first get a little clue that Hal is a little off.
Yeah, and you kept
Yeah.
going. I mean, what's that like playing a, corrupt politician that has weird sexual tendencies?
To bang
Just to bang
prostitutes.
prostitutes.
What?
It's just another day at the office.
Another
guy.
day at the office?
Just another day at the office, man.
What's, when you read that script, do you go, I mean, do you have to, like, study weird sexual behavior or anything like that?
He already knows. He doesn't have to study.
I mean, I did a little bit of research.
You really go into the part?
Yeah, not that
too far. Not too far.
deeply.
Not too
No,
far.
otherwise they'd probably be knocking on our door right now and hauling me off to the pokey.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Right.
No, I don't delve into it too much.
Not
I
too
mean,
deep.
what were the biggest challenges with the part playing Hal?
Probably the biggest challenge on this finale episode, on this last episode, was not just the exhaustion and the time constraints and all that, driving back and forth from one show to the other. That was just, but it actually helped in a way. I was so sleep deprived during the 3 days because I was doing Scorpion in the morning and the other one at night, and I was just going on fumes, and I found that actually helped me because I was so exhausted that when we did that scene, the end of episode 12, when I said, "Oops, I did it again," and it cuts, and that's the end of the show, and then 13, you see me walk into the house, and Ken says, "Tell me what happened," and we poured the drink and smoked the cigarettes. That was all on the same night. So I was just so worked up and exhausted, and I had to stay in that same kind of emotional
Right.
neighborhood for 10 hours.
As you were watching it back with us, what were you thinking?
It was a really hard day. It was a
bringing back memories?
really hard day. It was tough. It was tough memories. My father had passed away. We talked about it earlier. I lost my father during that time, and it was very difficult to go on. But my father was a theatrical agent for a long time. He was in show business, and he kind of he would have wanted me to keep on trucking.
The show must go on.
Yeah,
You
and
lost him on the day you were filming
I
that?
lost him on the day that I was filming Scorpion, and on the day that we shot the scene in the hotel parking lot in the rain.
And
So these emotions that we were seeing on
Yeah.
camera are actually real emotions because
Yeah, it was not hard to get to that.
knowing he wanted you to go on motivated you to finish the day?
That and the fact that I wanted to get out of the rain.
you said it was freezing.
It was freezing.
right?
Yeah, we were all Gethin, Brian. We all had the luxury of wearing wetsuits.
Underneath.
Surfing wetsuits underneath our suits.
Really?
But it was still quite cold.
Right.
The water was cold. But the young lady who played the prostitute, she
was in that bag and her
she was
makeup.
in the bag and the dress, and she had a rough night. So it was a long rough night. But man, it made for some kick-ass television.
Oh, for sure.
It was an amazing night of television.
Yeah.
Amazing to watch.
Yeah, we've heard a lot of people saying the last episode will blow your mind.
It's
Right.
pretty
Definitely.
crazy.
I love it how it all just comes together like that.
It all comes together. I mean, it's such a beautifully crafted show from beginning to end.
Definitely.
I can't wait to see what happens in season 2.
I know.
Yeah.
We are all excited.
Yeah.
So I guess we see at the beginning in that same scene how Hal basically says, we need to go to Charlie for help. And so we see that, they're panicking, trying to find out where the prostitute is or where the girl is, and he's blackmailing them. And
Yeah.
basically,
Yeah.
how would you describe the relationship between Hal and Charlie?
Well, I think
It's different because Ken and Charlie, we obviously know, are having this romantic affair, but
Yeah.
Hal is kind of on the side of it, but he knows everything that's going on with Charlie.
he's on the side of it, but he's also I think Charlie has kind of a grudging respect for Hal.
Okay,
I mean, when he
yeah.
confronted him in the parking lot that day, I mean, Charlie knows where all the bodies are buried, literally and figuratively,
Right.
and as does Hal. They have so much dirt on each other that,
And that's why he says we need to go to Charlie for help because
Yeah.
they can't do it without each other.
right.
So they have that I won't tell, you won't tell mentality.
Kind
they
of.
both know so much.
You scratch my back, I scratch yours.
Yeah.
I mean, their relationship goes back to that. I mean, that scene in the parking lot. That's 1959. That's 7-8 years before. Before the stuff that we see in the show. So, so their relationship goes back a long time.
A long time.
And it's fascinating. It was fascinating to play.
Right.
Fascinating to watch Gethin Gethin do what he did by going back in time and playing the younger version of himself. We all had to be the younger version of ourselves.
That's true.
So he literally went and just took his beard off.
Took his beard off on the last night. That was the last scene of the last episode. The very last night, that scene in the rain at the hotel. We were in the hair and makeup trailer, and Gethin was
shaving
off his beard that he'd had.
He actually looked so much younger.
Yes, he did. Yeah, he really did.
He looked like a little schoolboy, and he was wearing a suit and stuff.
Yeah.
I was like, who is this guy?
Who is this?
He looks respectable.
And he was Manson was a pimp during that era. He was a career criminal most of his life. I mean, he was in and out of jail, but he spent more time in jail, I think, than out of it.
Definitely he did.
Yeah, but he was God, what a wonderful performance! And just watching Gethin again tonight, the last scene with the girls.
Oh my gosh,
so good.
Yeah, the way he plays Charlie is just fascinating because he does play it so well that you literally think you're watching Charlie Manson on the screen.
Yeah, I thought the acting was the highlight of the whole series.
Definitely.
Just watching, the beauty of David Duchovny, even Brian Shafe, what's his name? Damon.
Damon.
I think that he came into his own in that role. Not many people knew him, but now he's a well-respected, went toe-to-toe with the best.
Claire Holt. I mean, everybody got a chance to shine. Every single the actor that plays Jimmy too. The pimpy guy, and Claire Carey, and Claire Holt, and Chance Kelly, who plays Cutler. Everybody got great moments in the show, and this last episode, I had this was sort of I had a terrific opportunity.
This is yours.
I had to dig into every tool in the acting toolbox. On that these last couple of days.
Wow. When you signed up for the role, did you know how it was all going to come down to you that last episode?
No idea. They didn't really. It sort of unfolded as we went along, but I had no idea what Hal's journey was going to be when I signed on for the pilot. I mean, I knew that he was going to be an attorney, prominent Beverly Hills attorney. He was a little bent, a little corrupt.
But you didn't know. And then what was your initial reaction when you read that last?
Wow.
Were you like,
oh wow, it's fantastic.
I didn't even know who I was playing this whole time.
No. When I read the last episode, I was
You're
thrilled.
like, this is awesome.
I was awesome. It was, because I'd had some wonderful moments throughout the series. I think I did the 5 or 6 episodes, but when I saw the 13th episode, I thought, oh wow, I've got some work to do.
Yeah.
I've got a lot of work to do. As an actor, I've got a lot of things to bring to the table, and I got to get busy trying to figure out.
Right.
Yeah, that's a good point. What you said, is it hard playing a character not knowing where the character's going?
I think so, yeah. Because some shows have a Bible. Some shows have an idea. The showrunner will give you an idea of where the character's going. In this case, I just didn't, because I came in every 3rd or 4th episode throughout the series, so I didn't really know where he was going, and so I would talk to David. I would talk to whoever was on the set. I'd talk to John McNamara and say, what's happened? So this is now episode 7 or 8. What's happened since the last time you saw Hal? And John always knew. Like, they always knew. They would always give me a little roadmap.
Hal did this, and then he did this.
just to give me a little. Well, it is hard, but they always almost like giving a little like a triptych, like you get for AAA.
Yeah.
He's been here and he's done this, just to give me some little sense of the journey that's been on.
He did this.
Yeah.
So you just walk in, I'm back, guys. So where are we up to?
Well, but I didn't want to have to create it out of whole cloth. I wanted to have some sense of where he'd come from. So they were all very helpful.
That's fascinating.
But also, just in terms of that last episode, I really needed to have an idea for myself in terms of how to play him, where he'd come from, because you hadn't seen him. You saw me a little bit at the end of 12, but then not before that in like 7 or 8.
Exactly.
You were gone for a while.
I was gone for a while, so I wanted to know where I'd been.
That's interesting, where his character went. So if you had to say, what would you think that Hal's childhood was like, and his teenage years? What would you think that his background is like, but from the way that he ended up? Do you have any idea?
I couldn't even speculate what his childhood was like to get him to
get him
that
to the way he
messed
is.
up of a person the way he was. Wow.
If you had to guess.
Oh, we put him on the spot.
That's a whole other show.
Yeah.
That's a whole other show.
Let's have a new show.
Prequel.
Hal's background.
That crazy Hal.
That crazy
Yeah.
Hal.
Yeah.
That's the name.
It's like Better Call Saul, you know?
Better Call
Breaking
Saul.
Bad,
Exactly.
right.
That crazy Hal.
Listen, we want to do a spin-off of Hal Banyan.
Let's do it.
I'm in.
All right.
A pretty effed up childhood,
Exactly.
I would imagine,
I agree.
to get him to that place.
Well,
Did this-
But everybody has their, everybody has their little kinks.
Yeah.
So we know you've been renewed for season 2. Did this show? What were your expectations of the show coming into it? Has it exceeded your expectations of success?
You're always thrilled when you get a second season. I mean, the Satisfaction that I did last summer on USA hadn't any clue that we would get picked up.
Right.
And we just finished our second season in Atlanta. So I mean, thrilled about that. So it's always a blessing.
So
when you
upcoming actors should look at your track record when they choose to do a
Yeah,
pilot.
I'm not the guy.
Well, because we found out a while ago that Aquarius was getting picked back up.
Yeah,
so that's,
found out a couple of months ago that we
that's
were
great, yeah.
getting picked up. So, but we don't know whether Banyan is.
We don't know,
we
because-
don't know what's up with Banyan because.
There's so much we don't know. Yeah.
Well, you
Right.
see the flash in the car at the end.
Well,
Yeah, who the hell got
gun
shot?
goes off, huh?
Who got shot?
that's the thing.
We don't know.
I don't know.
So, well, we see in that whole thing that's unfolding, we
No
see
either.
that he's, Ken's dropping the drugs into the alcohol, getting Hal to drink it, and
Yeah.
he's going
That's
there.
my buddy. That's my
That's your
partner.
friend.
Why would he do that to me?
That's what I'm
Why would
saying.
he do that to me?
Oh, I would rewound it. I'm like, hold on, is he dropping? What is going in there? Like, what kind of pills are
You
those?
thought he was poisoning Charlie
I
originally.
almost thought that he was going to poison Charlie because
Yeah,
I'm like, there's
yeah.
no way that he's going to do this to Hal.
Yeah.
So he's dropping the drugs in there, and then Hal's drinking. Hal's all messed up.
Yeah.
And then he pulls the gun on him, and I'm like, what is happening?
And he
legit-
writes the fake suicide
And he writes
note.
the fake suicide. It's
Yeah.
like, dear family and friends,
Yeah.
I'm so sorry that this had to happen. But then, unexpectedly, Hal
It's a
wakes up.
really messed up, enabling relationship.
And
the two
Hal's
of those,
hilarious.
The two of them had a really, I mean, the way they
Yeah.
enabled one another. I mean, when I'm sitting there drinking my scotch and
Mm-hmm.
getting progressively drunker, and I say, well, what about your life? You're complaining. I mean, binging for days on Rent Boys. I mean, it's the pot calling the kettle black. He's
Right.
he's talking to me about my twisted life, and
Exactly.
I'm saying, hey, pal. We created these lives together.
So Hal knows everything that, Hal knows that Ken is gay, that Ken's in the club,
Oh, sure.
He knows
Oh, yeah.
everything
Oh,
about,
yeah.
they're that close that they know everything about each other, but Hal would never say that to anybody.
No.
Right.
But I mean.
But he knows all about it.
Yeah,
Definitely.
and obviously Ken knows what went down in the parking lot.
Exactly. And we saw that in the beginning because Hal said, he's like, I saw you and Charlie together, and
Yeah.
he saw them kissing, and so he knows everything that's going on.
What I know about Ken, he is the most ambitious person I've ever. He does not care who anyone is.
Right.
He will take anyone down if it gets.
You know
in
what's
his
awesome
way.
about the way Brian plays it is he doesn't wear that ambition on his sleeve. It's very, very subtle.
It's
what
something
he
you can
does.
tell too, the way he acts.
But it's just it's such a quiet presence that he has.
Mm-hmm.
I sound like I'm crushing on him. It's just silly.
You
No.
are a little bit, I think, because...
I have a lot of male crushes.
No,
It's
he's
good.
just a masterful actor. I just
Yeah,
really, it's just
definitely.
incredible. It's just such a subtle. His descent into darkness is so
Right.
subtle and great to watch.
It is, yeah. It is subtle. Yeah, so we see these two best friends, but also enemies, going in this battle together, and then we see this beautiful shot of Los Angeles. They're up on the hill, and then we don't know who gets shot in the end. What do you guys think?
I got no idea.
I predicted
and
from
you're not
the
giving
start.
anything away.
From the start, I predicted that Ken was going to die, and I still stand by that.
You think Ken's
Who are you
gone?
pointing at? Who are you?
At the
America.
audience, America.
The
I
world.
think that Ken is dead, but you know what? I don't know because I don't know what would happen in season 2 then. I don't think either. Maybe neither of them are dead.
I'm thinking he might be dead.
You think?
He's just not telling us because Ken was such a important character
but
in the
they were
whole thing,
struggling.
episode and
They
episode.
were struggling really strangely. It seemed like it went off in the roof or something.
Maybe it shot no one. That's a good
Possibly.
point.
I got a confession to make.
Oh, here we
Okay,
go.
what's up?
Spill the bit. Here
I
we
got a
go.
confession to make. I told you about this backstage. So the scene in the car when I'm taking little nips off the bottle.
Yeah.
Yeah. There was an apple juice.
Method acting,
It
man.
wasn't
apple
apple juice.
No, there was a little bit of whiskey in there because I wanted to get a little bit of the taste of the whiskey
yeah.
on my lips. just to have that vibe in
You
my
have
head.
to, yeah.
And also, I was just also a little bummed out that the show was going to end.
Right, he's like, I gotta have some liquid.
And it was like 4 o'clock in the morning, so it was a little.
Why not?
Breaking news.
Yeah.
That was.
Breaking news, everybody.
But it was like we had a beer before the show to celebrate the end of the
We
season.
did.
Hey,
Yeah.
I
Did
would have
So-
done the same thing.
But,
I would have had
yeah.
a little whiskey around.
That brings up a point. Do you think actors do that? Do they get in the part that much? They go.
Well, if he would have gotten in the part
if-
that much, he would have been literally dead because he
Oh,
was.
yeah.
That guy was drugged. That guy was drunk off his ass.
Oh,
like,
you mean in the scene in the house? When I'm just bombed throughout the whole scene with Ken, but not really.
No, in the car.
In the but in the scene in the house, I had to obviously get myself into that headspace. That was on a different night, but when we did the thing in the car in the mountains, I got myself a little something.
Yeah, one of those little, shots.
I do that before I do like my radio show and stuff.
I feel like
Yeah.
if I was gonna play like a really drunk person, like I'd want to be drunk so
You
I
know-
would know what I'm doing. You
you
know,
know,
like how do I really act when I'm drunk?
I just had a couple of sips. I didn't. I just,
Yeah.
No,
Of
I
course.
just because I couldn't. I mean, because we were there for 10 hours,
Right.
until the sun came up.
It would
I
have
would've
worn
been-
off anyways.
Yeah, and then and when we wrapped the show, what was left in the bottle, I sort of passed it around to a couple of colleagues. And
Oh, there you go.
sort
There
of
you go.
A lot of
toasted
fun.
Toasted the sunrise
Of
and
course.
went home and slept for 3 days.
Do
Yeah.
you all get together and have a moment of congratulations?
There was more stuff to do after the gunshot in the car, so I think I was wrapped, and then I said my goodbyes. I hugged everybody and got in the car and went home, and they still had 3 or 4 hours more left of shooting.
man.
So
Do you
we had a
get-
wrap party a couple weeks later.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we had a time to get together and hug each other.
Is
and-
it like sad for you every time? Because you've been on so many different shows. Like every time you're done with one, do you get a little sad, or you're
It's a
like,
little.
whatever?
It's a
I'll see
little.
you guys.
No. It's a little. It's there's a little bit of a little death every
It seems
time.
like every time, right?
Every time,
see
yeah,
that.
it's very sad. I'm always like the last guy to leave the set.
Oh, you're
too.
like everybody.
When I wrap, I go in the makeup trailer and say goodbye to everybody, but I always end up kind of sticking around the craft service table and having another donut, and because
Who
you
else
know
can
that
I
when you
talk
get in your
to?
car and you go home, you don't know what's coming next.
Exactly.
So I like to stick around, and I like being on set. I really
yeah,
do. I
it's
love
like
it.
a little death every
Well,
time.
you clearly like it. You have about
Speaking-
500 things going on.
Right. Speaking of deaths, we had a lot of those in this episode. We had the two brothers. Then we
They both
also
died.
I've never
had.
heard anybody say "speaking of death" with such
Speaking
a
of
chipper.
death.
Speaking of
Speaking
death,
of it, we
let's
did.
talk about death.
Well, let's talk about it. Well, that was pretty important because we see, the two brothers died, and then Sam gets this Medal of Honor, and then we also see Ken shoving this girl's head in with a freaking shovel.
Yeah.
With a shovel.
The last 3 episodes, there's been 3 scenes I didn't like. There's that scene. There was
It was,
the
you know
scene-
what it was? It was the.
The noise.
The
it was-
noise.
Because it sounded like brain.
Yeah, we're watching it, and Spencer goes, hold on, the noise. Wait, the noise. You're going to,
Yeah.
it's gross.
Chunk,
Okay.
chunk. It sounded like brain. You
You
went
could
right to the.
feel it going through her head.
That scene, the Charlie with his mother scene, when he
slapped her.
when he beat her around, and the Sadie scene where he completely smashed her.
Well, Manson had a messed up relationship with his mother, with his.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and I mean, okay, so we see, the relationship between Sadie, too, and Charlie. And Sadie's obviously the girl, your go-to girl
Yeah.
to do things with. And Charlie gives her away,
Yeah.
basically. So that's where I feel like, this strained relationship between Charlie and Sadie come from the whole time. Because she keeps saying, he doesn't love me. I don't understand. But yet here he is pawning her off to Hal and all these other people for, like, weird rituals.
Well, you know the story about what happened to Manson in real life. What happened to him is, I think, his mother, and I think it's alluded to in the show. His mother sold him for like a bucket of
Yeah.
beer.
Yes.
Or something. Yeah,
And
for
then
like a pail of beer.
Right. And they, like, rekindled later.
Right.
But that's where it came from.
Right,
Yeah, no.
right.
Gave him away. I think.
Yeah.
I mean, Sadie just loves Charlie, and
Oh,
she
yeah.
can't deal with it, and she knows that
Yeah, she stole a
sleeping
baby
with other
for
guys
him.
and stuff is just part of his ritual, which she has to do to be loved by him. But she can never quite get that.
I'd steal a
She's
baby.
like always-
I'd steal a baby for him.
Oh yeah. Right. Yeah, and she steals his freaking baby too because the baby was he takes a knife and goes a little crazy in there. I don't even want to get too much into it, but then the baby's stillborn, and then Sadie goes and steals a baby from the hospital. And everyone's cool with it. They're like, yeah, great. This is awesome.
I wish we could
Emma.
have people calling in right now. I want to
Yeah,
have
me too.
people,
Right.
callers call in and say, and asking questions.
That'd be
Right,
awesome.
but Emma was the one that was a little upset about that. You could tell.
Emma was strange this episode. Did anyone think she was really strange?
Right. Well,
She's strange. I mean,
she's a strange girl.
But we know she's strange.
But what a great performance, though.
Oh
She was
my
also
gosh,
great.
yeah.
She was just terrific to watch.
But I'm still confused why. I thought she was in jail for so long that she was over the whole Manson
I thought
thing.
so too.
And she was acting like it in the previous episodes. I predicted she was going to come home and be done with it.
I think what it was is that
The last time I was with you guys, she was walking away, right? She was walking walking down the
She's
road.
been in jail for like 3 episodes,
Yeah,
4
yeah.
episodes. We haven't even seen her. But then I think it was is that we see Grace and she goes in there and she goes, I'm not the mother you wanted. Well, you're not the daughter that I wanted.
Right,
And then that was,
right.
she's like, okay, whatever. I'm going back to my family.
And then,
Michaela crushed it in that scene.
Oh
too.
my
Yeah.
gosh.
and then she just forgives Sadie. Like, Sadie got her put in jail, and she's just like, I love you, Sadie. I forgive you.
I don't know. Sadie's so creepy.
I think
to
it's
me.
because Emma knows she has the upper hand. She knows Charlie loves her more than Sadie.
Exactly.
She'll always have that, so she's playing the politically correct role in some sort of way.
Right.
'Cause
Yeah.
she knows she has that over her.
Yeah, definitely. But yeah, I think that's why the relationship was strained the whole time because he's pawning her off to.
What else? You got a lot of notes there.
I
What else
know,
you
I
got?
know.
What else you got on your
Yeah,
notes?
he doesn't pawn her off to many other people besides Hal, though.
Yeah.
I don't know. Hal gets apparently the best girl that Charlie has.
Yeah, it's fascinating.
Well, he's a
stuff.
classy guy.
Hal is pretty
He's a
classy.
classy guy.
He's pretty damn classy.
He should get the best girls.
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree with that.
Mm-hmm.
So, also in this episode, so there's a couple other things that happen. We see the relationship between Walt. We see the thing that was happening with Charmaine. Charmaine, I feel like should have gotten that Medal of Honor at the end. Does anybody else agree?
I think so.
Charmaine?
Yeah.
So Charmaine's been kidnapped.
But it's all politics. I mean, you only got the great Xander Berkeley, who plays the chief of police, bestows the Medal of Honor on him at the end, and it's all. It was very reminiscent to me of L.A. Confidential, the relationship that darkly corrupt relationship in the police force. It was very political.
So let's talk about that scene for a second. I felt like, Sam killed both the brothers were killed.
The brothers.
So Sam was almost depressed about
Sam
his
doesn't-
son. Sam was like having a moment, depressed that his son had just got arrested. So I felt like he was confessing that he should be charged because he didn't act because those guys were killed and he didn't have to kill them. He said, I didn't have to kill him, but I wanted him dead. Then the next thing, he was even surprised when he got the Medal of Valor for it. But the
surprised, yeah.
But the judge came and said, pretty much it's because we don't want all this getting out to the public. We're going to close it, forget about
It's
it, and
crazy,
going to give you the
though.
medal.
And David Duchovny was just so unfazed. He's like, whatever.
Yeah.
He's literally.
He's just he's also the master of playing it cool.
He's amazing.
Nobody looks cooler than he does.
I'm going to
He's
ask you
amazing.
this.
Yeah.
Is he, Californication, I've said it, Aquarius, he plays the same laid-back, quick-witted guy. Is he like that in real life? Is
Yeah.
that what he's like?
Yeah.
Is he?
Yeah.
Okay.
Just very similar?
He's a quiet-spoken guy. He's very smart. He just published a novel not too long ago, and
Yeah, he's highly intelligent.
lovely guy, very smart, but quiet. He's not not loquacious. He's not a slap you on the back kind of hangout. He kind of keeps to himself. He's quiet and does his thing. He's a professional. He shows up, does his job, kills it, and goes home.
And then, right.
Because
Goes home and takes care of his kids.
Exactly.
He's one of those actors that
terrific.
just that everyone knows
Yeah.
because he's so freaking cool.
Right.
You know?
So cool, but also just, there's cool, but also he's been so successful for so long because he's just so damn solid.
Right.
He's just
Okay,
so
yeah.
solid. He's just a solid professional actor, and he delivers. And there's similarities to. If you look at Hank Moody and Sam Hodiak and Mulder, there are certain tropes that he brings to each of
Sure.
those different characters, but they're all completely different from one another.
When you're watching
he plays smart guys.
when you're watching like a movie or a series you're in, do you watch the other actors play their part, how they act? Do you take anything
Sure.
from it?
Oh, sure.
Do you try and learn all the time?
Oh, yeah.
even though
I
you're
feel like that's
experienced
what
on
you
it?
have to do in order to keep improving, is keeping.
And sometimes you say, "Oh, I'm going to take that," and I've seen actors do things that I found myself kind of filing away, and then we all kind of take from each other, and because you look at stuff that Brando did, or even Jimmy Stewart or Jack Lemmon. Back in the old days, those guys were just master craftsmen And I think all of the best actors today are just, emulating what the greats back then did.
Definitely.
Has acting changed much?
I think it's changed a lot. I mean, I think Brando changed it.
You think his method sort of style?
I mean, to a certain extent. I mean, he changed it.
Acting?
It's kind of. I mean, they say Miles Davis says I changed jazz music like 5 different times.
Yeah.
I mean, it changed and morphed so many times over the years of the 50 years in his career. I mean, he was such an extraordinary craftsman and so gifted at what he did. A lot of different actors have brought so many different things to the craft of acting that I think it's changed a little bit. But Brando definitely changed the game, I think, for everybody. And that was 50 years ago.
Yeah, definitely. So we don't have that much time left, but since Aquarius, this is the last episode, it's the finale, we're going to season 2. I want to ask you, what do you think was like the number one thing about being in Aquarius and playing this role? What was your favorite number one part?
Favorite thing about being in the show?
Yeah.
I think just a chance to. I think this is the writing. I mean, the writing was just so rich and deep, and I love period stuff. I love doing Mad Men. I love doing period things, and so for me, the writing, just the chance to say those words. The writers on that show were extraordinary. So it was just a joy to show up and work. Because like I said, I mean, I would come every 3 or 4 episodes, and I'd look at the script and go, wow, I get to do that today?
Okay.
And I was usually in one scene per episode.
Sure.
But what a scene.
What a scene.
I mean, every
time.
scene I was in, it was like, I'm only going to do one scene, but damn, what a great
one.
piece of writing.
Yeah, definitely.
The scene in the parking lot with Charlie, the scene in the office with Ken. Each time it was like, wow, I get to get in the ring with this other terrific actor and throw down, and that was the joy of it.
Did
to show up to work and have a ball.
Exactly.
Did you know the stakes? Like, your scenes this episode pretty much influenced the whole series.
But I didn't know that.
I
didn't know that until I got the script for 13. I had no idea that Hal had been up to all of this shenanigans.
Which is crazy.
Yeah.
John Hamm, David Duchovny.
It was a great...
Brian Cranston.
Great...
All the guys. All my favorite shows.
Oh, my God.
Let's get into our predictions for next season real quick before we end.
You're going to predict season 2?
We got to predict season 2.
Wow.
And we're all hoping so much that Hal comes back, right?
Me too.
Yeah.
My prediction from day one, Ken's dead. He's done. Hal's going to become like the next, superhero in this. No, not that far. But I think Ken's gonna pass away.
I mean, I would say it looks like Hal Banyan's pretty much toast.
It looks like one of them is toast.
You're giving a hint there?
Huh?
Are you hinting anything there?
I'm not hinting at anything.
No.
I mean, as far as I know, I'm down the road. I'm on to the next show.
Right.
If somehow they find a way to bring me back, I'd be thrilled.
Thrilled.
Okay.
For sure. And you?
I'm not convinced Ken's dead.
Okay.
I think he was such an instrumental part.
I totally agree with that. I just have to say from day one that he is.
I can't.
You're a provocateur.
Oh, yeah.
I can't see the show without Ken, really. But so I'm so interested to see the way they're going to take it. But they've already given a few hints.
For sure.
Charmaine has been kidnapped, it looks like,
Yeah.
by, what's his name, Roy? So Brian's going to have to go sort that out. But they still think they don't know Brian's undercover.
Right.
So his identity might get exposed. So that's going to go that way right there. And then David Duchovny is going to get involved in that. And I think you're just going to see Manson become creepier and creepier, leading up to...
Oh, my God.
Is that even
Oh, yeah.
Is that even possible?
No, he's definitely coming creepier, for sure.
It's going to get more... It has to go that way.
Definitely.
As for you, I just don't...
I don't think Banyan could get any creepier.
Yeah,
so.
I don't know.
I don't know.
If you are back in it, you're going to have to do some serious acting.
I might have to. I might have to.
Sure. Well, thank you guys so much for joining us tonight. This has been AfterBuzz TV Aquarius, episode 13, the finale of season 1. We're so excited. Thank you so much, Spencer, for joining us. It's been great.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
I'm your host, Paige Bonanno. You guys can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at Paige Bonanno.
I'm your actor, Spencer Garrett. You can follow me at Spencer Garrett or Spencer Garrett 1 on Instagram.
There we go.
And I'm just that guy, David, the Australian guy.
The Australian guy. We don't know.
Guy and a girl
Are you just
show on Twitter.
that Australian guy?
No. I forgot my Twitter.
What?
Guy and a girl show. I'm just getting emotional this season now.
I know.
All right. Well, thanks so
time.
much, everybody, for joining us. We'll see you next season.
Thanks for tuning in.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you
See you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.